Hello, my stamping friends. Patty Edwards here with Why Stamp with Patty. And it's been a little bit. I made it back from Alaska, had a wonderful time, and now I'm ready to get busy and share stamping ideas with you again. So today I am making a card that is recreated um, from a card that I got in the mail from my good friend Karen Rossiter Culver. And I mean, just look at this beautiful card she sent me. I love it. And the nice thing is that she puts a little note in there so that I can reuse this if I want to. I like to do that also, but sometimes I forget and I don't always do that. But this card, I don't know if I can share it. It's so beautiful. I love it, love it, love it. So I knew I needed to recreate this card and share it with you. So I'm going to use one of our new sweet collections in our May to August catalog. And let's take a little look-see here. Uh, you can find this suite on page 28 and 29 in this catalog, and it's called Beautiful Ordinary Life. Now, when I was first looking at this page, nothing really struck me uh, that I had to have it, but I did order it, and it has beautiful paper, and I'll show you that in a minute. It has these array of dots that come in some colors that coordinate with the designer series paper, and it has a bundle in there called Border in Beauty, and it has lots of different, you know, uh, borders that you could use for cards, scrapbooking, and then it has some sentiment and tag dies. Uh, so the dies that coordinate, you will find that you can stamp the image, and then you can also, you know, cut that border off. So there's several of them, and they're just beautiful borders. They have some of them have this lovely stitching, that always adds to it. Uh, it has this border of butterflies, and I am going to use this today. And there's, some nice, oh my gosh, now all of a sudden I have a dry throat. So let me grab a drink of water, and hopefully that will take care of it. Um, all right, so that is the bundle. There are no words with this stamp set, so you can just, use any of the words that you have from other sets, and I'm sure you have plenty. Let's set this aside for a moment, and I'm going to set my catalog. I just want to point out this suite, it has these floral flight accents that are in this suite, and you can picture all of them on the embellishment page of the catalog on page 72. It has the actual picture of all the different little elements. They're black, and then the array of dots are also on that page, and they come in Flirty Flamingo, Lemon Lolly, Pool Party, and Pretty Peacock. So you get a little variety of dots, and it's nice. There are 3 different sizes in each color. I'm going to just show you when you get these accents, they will be on a sheet that's die cut, and you just, pop them out. And I have popped some of them out because you do have to, get all the little pieces out. So you'll see like this little flower. Um, Let's see if I can find it on here. So that's right here. So you just, take your pokey tool and just, poke all those little pieces out. And it just has all these butterflies and different sizes of flowers. It has different foliage. There's like some ferns, just leafy vines, various types. There's also some hearts, and they're a nice size. And I've made a few cards with this. I made a couple other cards with this prior to making the card that I'm going to make today. So I'll show you those when I'm done. And I'm going to put those back in the little bag so we don't lose them. So this sheet measures 6 by 12. So you have lots of different pieces of foliage or butterflies and hearts and so forth. Okay, let's take a look at this beautiful paper. And it is 12 by 12. And it does, you get 2 of each sheet. So there's 12 sheets, 6 of double-sided design paper. And on one side, you're going to find a black and white image or design. And on the other side, you're going to find these colorful, whimsical patterns. So like this one has stripes. And I love having the black and white because, like this foliage, you could color or use your sponge and blender brushes or whatever and add color to it and make it whatever color you want, because maybe you're not going to use these particular colors and you could color this in with garden green. So that's always really nice. And then our second sheet has Flirting the Flamingo. That's kind of an ombre pattern, and it has these little crosses or plus signs, whatever you want to call them, on the other side. Here's a pool party polka dot, and it has these little V type pattern on the other side. This is the one that I'm going to use today. It has a combination of all the different colors that are in this paper. It has some pretty peacock. It has the lemon lolly. There's real red, timid tiger. What else is in there? Lost Lagoon. So it has a variety of colors, and then it has kind of this pattern on the other side. And the next one has this design and polka dots that are black and then the white background. And the last one has this kind of honeycomb and this vertical stripe, houndstooth maybe you'd call that. So let's see, the colors are basic black, daffodil delight, flirty flamingo, lemon lolly, lost lagoon, petal pink, pool party, pretty peacock, real red, and timid tiger. All right, so let's get busy and make this lovely fun fold card that my friend sent me. And I just love getting cards in the mail. I'm sure you do too. It's just a fun surprise. And I just want to thank my friend Karen for inspiring me to make this card. I am going to show you what I have. It takes 3 pieces because it's kind of, I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of like a triple Z card, because it does form a Z pattern. So you have 3 kind of card bases. So you have this smaller one, the medium, and then the back side. But it does measure your standard 5.5 by 4 1/4. So the back piece is, just your half a piece of basic white. And we're going to score that at 2 1/8, and then 4 1/4. And then our third piece, well, not the third piece, the second piece, well, here's our second piece. That would be the middle piece, measures 4 1/4 by 7 1/4. And we're going to score that again at the same measurements, 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. And then the smaller piece, the third piece, measures 3 3/8 by 6 3/8. And again, we're going to score that at the same measurements, 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. So now that we have that scoring done, we can take our bone folder and make good creases. So the first left panel is going to fold, you know, if you want to, a lot of people call this a mountain fold, and then the one to the right is going to be a valley fold. So we can take our bone folder and just make really good creases. Since this is going to be a little thick, so we have this pointing up and the right side's pointing down. And we're just going to repeat that with all three panels. So we're going to fold this one up, and this one's going to be folded so it goes down. And then these are going to end up fitting together. So we have this piece folded back. This piece is going to fold over. Okay, so we have the back piece, our middle piece, and then this is going to create the inside piece. And then we're going to, you know, put some DSP. So I use that very colorful piece of paper that's in that beautiful Ordinary Life DSP. And I cut, you're going to need, and you can, you know, use all DSP. You could use some cardstock. I'm going to use DSP on this back panel. So this first piece, and I'm just going to have a small border. So I cut this piece 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So as I give you those measurements, I'm just going to go ahead and attach. I got a little crazy with that glue. It's a new bottle, so came out a little fast. All right. So we're just going to make sure we kind of have that even border all the way around. And then I have two pieces for these two panels that measure 2 by 5 3/8. So I'll go ahead and attach those. And depending upon your DSP, you know, if it has a pattern, you want to make sure, like I kind of laid this out and I wanted, you know, some of the pretty peacock down and some up, you know, instead of having it all down. So you kind of want to lay that out and look at it before you attach it and see if you're happy with that pattern. And next we're going to do the middle one. And for the middle one, I'm going to use cardstock. So I'll set this one aside. And I have 3 pieces of pretty peacock. So 2 of them are 2 inches by 4 1/8. So that's 2 of them because we're going to have that duplicated pattern. So we're going to put those on there. And then the last panel measures 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. So we can go ahead and attach those. Let's see here. I had an event yesterday, so I've had a lot of stamping this weekend, and I always enjoy doing live events with my Stampin' Ladies. They are just the best. We had a wonderful time, and you know, if you're not in the Omaha area, you can always request a to-go kit. I'm going to be trying to get that going where I offer some classes to go more often. Now, since we have the paper on these two, our next step would be to just figure out, we want to center this second panel. Make sure that's all attached real well. So we kind of have even borders all the way around there. So what I'm going to do is open this up, and whoops, this got crooked. And I'm just going to kind of put my finger where this ends and, you know, where my little margins are. And I'm going to open this because I just want to put, you know, our adhesive only where this part's going to touch this part, not past here. Otherwise it's going to, you know, attach to, we want to make sure we got this nice and straight and our borders are even. I think that looks pretty good. And then this back panel is going to be glued, all of it's going to be glued to this panel. So we can put a layer of glue. Maybe get a little closer to the edge there. And then we can close this and add the pressure that way. So our first little two panels are on there. So it's not really that hard. It looks like a lot of stuff going on, but it's not really that complicated. It all depends upon when you get into the decorating, how much die cutting and all that you want to do. All right, so our last piece of DSP, and I'm just going to place this, I'm going to place this on top of here and see which direction I want this to go. So I think kind of like, what do you think? I think that, or should I have that go up there? I think I like it like that. So we'll add our glue to this piece. And the next step would be to attach this third panel to our middle panel. And we'll do the same thing that we did earlier. We'll just kind of lay that down. And you know, I just got to thinking, it might be easier, I don't know. I was going to say it might be easier to just glue this panel first, but if it moves, I won't be able to see if this is all straight. So I'm going to continue to do it like I was doing it, but that would work too. So just going to take our glue and run a little square because we can kind of see how high it is, and add a little glue so that stays real well. I think I can go a little bit further here. Okay, that looks pretty centered. Isn't that paper just really gorgeous? It's just kind of playful, and I like the color combination. You know, sometimes I always think, wow, that's a lot of colors together, but Stampin' Up! Just really does a really good job of their color coordination. It always amazes me. Okay, now we have that one. So we're going to do the same thing that we did earlier, and we're going to add our glue to our back panel. And then we will close that and add the pressure. And voila, we are done with the shell of our card. So cute. I just was so excited about this card, and I thought I'm gonna have to share that on my video. Now, to decorate our card, we're gonna need some paper scraps. So I have some basic white here, and I just pulled these out of my little scrap drawer. And I have a piece of Flirty Flamingo. We're going to stamp a greeting, and today I am using the sentiments from, what did I do with it? It's the Fern and Flora stamp set. I think I have it down here. So this set, I love the words in here. You're an amazing friend, and I'm going to use You Make the World a Better Place. So I'm going to use those two sentiments, one for the outside and one for the inside of the card. And this first one, You're an Amazing Friend, I'm just going to stamp in the middle of that paper scrap. And You Make the World a Better Place. I'm going to ink that up. And I'm going to stamp that on the inside of this card. There we go. Set that aside to let it dry. And the other stamp I'm going to use is this butterfly border. And there's a die that we can use to cut that out. So I'm going to ink this up. Going to stamp that on this piece of scrap paper, just like that. And the three dies that we're going to use, I'm going to use this one on the Flirty Flamingo, and I'm going to use this die to cut out You're an Amazing Friend. And then, of course, we have this butterfly die that will cut out this butterfly border. So, of course, you know me, by the magic of TV, I already have those cut out, so we don't have to, you know, waste any time. And I'm going to put these dies on my magnet board. Let's see. All right, so I have my three pieces here, and I'm going to color in these butterflies. I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo blends, and first I'm going to take the light one, and I'm just going to color in all the butterflies real quick. There's kind of a little striped pattern. So I'll add a little darker color. I think I'm going to use the bullet tip. I think that'll just go a little faster. There we go. Just filling that all in. And then I'm going to go back with my darker one and just kind of alternate those little stripes that are in. I'm going to use the bullet tip because this is very fine. So that will just give that a little bit of alternating color. And we don't really have to blend so much in this small area, but it does give that a little bit more definition when you use the two separate colors in smaller areas. So there's that. I'll show you that up close. So it just gives it a little more texture than just one solid color. Now this piece, what I'm going to do with this, you'll notice this has these holes in there, so you could, you know, tie that on a card and make a tag. What I'm going to do is take my scissors, I'm going to cut this in half, and I'm going to just add that to both sides of my die here. And I'm just going to line that up so that it kind of comes off. It's kind of the same size as where this angle meets. So I'm going to add that just as a little accent to our sentiment die. Try to get that even on both sides. Looks pretty good. All right, now I'm going to take some of those pieces from the accents that I showed you earlier, and I have some foliage here. Two pieces that just kind of a leafy vine. And what I'm going to do is add this vine to the front of my card. So I need to make sure that it's not going off the edge, otherwise it won't fit in our envelope. And then I just want to make sure that I like, you know, there's not little pieces sticking out. I think that's a good arrangement. So we can use, you could use glue dots if you wanted to. I like this position, so I'm just going to kind of bend this back a little bit and add a couple little dots of glue to a few of these leaves to get them to stay in place. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this bottom one. So let's put that back. And you could also, if you wanted to, you know, use some dimensionals, but I think this card with the layers, that might get a little thick. So that's why I'm going to just glue them in place and not pop them up. We don't want our cards to get too thick because then we have to add more postage. All right, we have that on there. And then let's go ahead and see if this is still to my liking and where I want to place that. I think I'm going to take my scissors and just trim a little bit off of the two stems. So it's kind of peeking through a little bit. And you know, I can rearrange things over and over and over again. I think I'm going to center it on this panel, and I am going to use a dimensional only because on this side, I'm going to see. Yeah, I think we need to have a dimensional. So I'm just going to use our little baby dimensionals, little mini dimensionals. I'm going to use my pick tool to get those tabs off. And I'll go ahead and this border. And I have decided that, it's going to look funny if I just put a little border. So what I decided to do was take my scissors and I'm just going to cut these apart. It's really pretty easy because they're spaced far enough that you can just kind of trim. So like this has a little thing that we can just round that corner off. And I just took one that I have already and I cut them up and then put little mini dimensionals behind them. And I think I'm going to use 3 of them. We'll see what that looks like. Add one there. That kind of just ties it all together. Brings out that flirty flamingo that we used on the tag. And I'll put one over here that's maybe flying towards the foliage. And then, what do you think? Maybe one up in the corner here. We'll do that. And now I'm going to take some of these array of dots. I have a package that I opened previously. And I'm going to take the medium. Yeah, I think I'll use the medium. The big one's going to be too big, and the small one I think will be too small. So I'm going to cover up that hole that's in that die with these little dots, and that just gives that a little extra accent. And then I think that looks pretty good for our outside of our card. Now, if you want, you could add some more butterflies. I think I'm going to see about adding maybe another piece of this foliage. Oops, this has a little piece that I didn't get out. So this tool is amazing. I love it for all kinds of things. I think that kind of ties it together. If we want to, we have 3 here. We could add a couple more butterflies. And since they're on the inside, I would probably just put them flat. That kind of brings it all together, I think. The other thing, there are some little hearts in there. Let's take a little look and see what that looks like. Oh, if I can pick it up. There's these little hearts. But I think the foliage, we'll stick with the foliage. I'm going to put that on that middle panel. Again, we'll just put this flat. Put a little drop of glue. Ooh, doo doo. Yep. Put a little dot on all those little dots. And again, if you get the majority of them covered, I think I have a little hair here. That. All right. Just put that on that middle panel. And I think we need a little bit at the end of the stem. Just a little bit of glue down here. We'll hold that in place nicely. And I'm going to put this butterfly flat that's going on the inside. Get that turned around. Oops. Ooh. Okay, let's see. We'll have one going that way. And put a little glue on this one. So then we still have an odd number so that when we open it up, we have like 5. Put this one going that direction, I believe. Okay, whoops. Oh, it stuck to my finger. Oh, Here we go. Now, if you want to write more, you can always write on the back of the card. If you're using colored cardstock, you can always add a white panel. That's always a great way to have more surface to write, but I think it turned out pretty good. So let me know what you think, and if you would like a PDF of how to make this card, and I would gladly send you one with any order that you order this month during June. I will send you the directions for this card. I'm also going to show you a couple more that I did with this suite. These two cards, I used this big piece that pops out of the accents pieces and laid it on white cardstock and used blender brushes and added color to this card. And then this is the paper that I used on this card and just laid that down. Again, stamped these butterflies on this paper, cut them out. So I didn't even have to color. I didn't have to color them. I just used the paper, added some of those array of dots, and used, some different sentiments from other sets. And let's see what I did on the inside. Added some more butterflies. Like this one, I even let the two still together. Cut a separate one. On this one, I stamped that border, and then again used the blender brush around the edges to add some color to the inside. This one, used that stripe paper and cut a piece of white paper and used that little scallop border on the top and the bottom. And then on the inside, I did the same thing and then put a little bit of that striped paper. So it kind of, jazzes up the inside also. This is one of those little dies. It's like a little tiny die, a little accent die. Let's see, where is that? I'm going to show you that because, here it is. This piece right here, I just stuck that behind this sentiment as a little accent. And this little die, I just stamped the happy on there from our words and wishes. This is a great birthday greeting set, so I took this happy, stamped it, and cut it out with this little die right here. And this has some wonderful dies in it too. This has the birthday where you can layer it. So anyway, lots of fun things happening. So don't just page buy this sweet collection, because there's so many things that you can do with it. It just has all these beautiful colors. And again, I want to thank Karen for the inspiration and this lovely card that she sent me. I appreciate it so much. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.